Hello everybody, this is Gareth Cahoon Speaks back here with another video. I'd like you to hit the subscribe bar, give me a thumbs up if you like the video, or hit the notification bell to be notified when I post my next post. Or otherwise you can look me up at my website, which is www.garethcahoon.co.uk. Or if you'd like to support the ministry, you can do so through PayPal garethcahoon3@gmail.com. This Christian protester was shot 4 times by the Iranian regime, and 4 surgeries later, he still has hope. Armenia-Iran border, an Iranian Christian who was shot for standing up to his oppressors is still in the fight. He now lives in Armenia, where he and other Iranian believers hope to return home once the Islamic regime falls. Their mission is to bring faith, hope, and a message of change to their people. Abton raises his arm slowly. The scars are still there. A lasting reminder of the day, he says, Iranian security forces opened fire. There was an assassination attempt on my life. I was on the streets with others protesting the regime, he recalls. Thousands had taken to the streets, angry over rising gasoline prices and what they saw as years of corruption and inequality. We were protesting the oppression and discrimination that existed in society by a handful of oligarchs who for decades took all the wealth of the country into their hands and did nothing for us. They don't care about people's pain and suffering, Upton says. Then came the gunfire. A shotgun blast tore into his arm. This is the result after 4 surgeries it took. Looks like this, he explains, showing his scars. Upton says the protests were never just about gasoline prices. We are fighting for freedom, for a normal life, for prosperity, for security, the most obvious things that every human being needs in life. Eventually he fled to Armenia and found a small Iranian church. I was in a bad mental state when I came to Armenia, and the only place that could give me that peace during this time was this church. The pastor here says Naloth Church is about more than worship. It's a place of preparation. Pastor Omid says the people of Iran need salvation even more than they need civil liberties and freedom in our country. They need the salvation that comes through knowing the Yeshua HaMashiach. The freedoms and comforts of this world are temporary and limited, but he is eternal. Many Iranian believers here hope political change will one day let them return home. This is why we are preparing these people, both those here in the Bible school and those we have in Iran in the house churches, so that when the day comes that Iran is liberated, they can return and preach the gospel, Pastor Oman says. In Yerevan, Iranian Christians recently honoured 7 US soldiers killed in Operation Epic Fury and prayed for those injured in the war. Some thanked Americans and Israelis for standing against Iran's ruling system and expressed hope for the future and freedom. Beyond the refugee community, Armenians are also preparing to support this vision. For several years now, Armenian Christians have moved near the border fence that divides Iran from Armenia, seeing it as a very strategic part of their country. They believe that this is the moment they've been praying for such a long time, that the Lord Yeshua, the Messiah, Jesus Christ, and his Ruach HaKodesh, the Spirit, will continue to move the nation of Iran. Dr. Jacob personally mentors Armenian Christians serving alongside the border. Since we started the ministry, there's about six years ago, we've been raising up a church in the region that's a missional church. Instead of going to Iran just to shop for goods, they go there to bring the love of Yeshua Jesus. They are able to go there, make relationships with people in Iran, and as Armenians they are accepted there. and they have a huge openness, and this is something an American could not do, he explains. For Abdon, the mission is personal. He hopes to return home not as a protester, but as a messenger of faith. I am glad this happened to me because I believe it is worth it. It was part of the struggle for my people and for their freedom, and nothing could be more important than that. So everybody out there that is complaining about the petrol prices, complaining about potential terrorist attacks that could happen to their countries because they stood with Israel and America, we need to wake up and smell the coffee. These people have struggled since 1979. For over 40 years, they've been abused, tortured, raped, muzzled, and covered head to toe with a burqa if they're women. Their fight for freedom should be our fight. Where is the lefties losing it? That so protested when Israel was in Gaza? Where are the women's rights groups crying out for the Iranian women who have been raped, tortured, and killed alongside Masa Amini? Where is the global community calling for Iran to stop? They need to put sanctions on it. They need to surround them on all sides so that they have no room to move. They need to be strangled with a stranglehold that puts the fear of God into them and makes them stop this madness of an Islamic caliphate. The Iranian people don't support Islam. They want to be free to worship whoever, whatever, whenever they please. And as we all know, the biggest growing church is the underground church in Iran. It used to be China until China forced its people to stop. But Iran now is the biggest underground church, and they're crying out for the Messiah. And I pray to God that He answers their prayers and makes Iran great again.